Hey everybody, Mah-Dry-Bread here. Fallout 4 while trying to lose was insane, as I'm sure it sounds to you right now. Let's follow that up with a challenge that I'm even more likely to lose. Today's the day that we figure out would I be able to beat Pokemon Platinum with a team of only one Chingling. Man, what is there to say about Chingling? Well, 285 base stats is lower than that of first form starters, and I really don't like how low our attack is, but at least our special attack is kind of passable? We're a psychic type with levitate, so we won't take any ground damage. By level up, we're kind of useless. We start with Wrap and just about no attack, so that isn't gonna do anything. We get Astonish at level 9, and that also sucks. Then we get our first move that uses Special at level 14 with Confusion. I think it's safe to say that we're going to need to heavily change our moveset with TMs. Speaking of TMs, the list isn't too bad. I'm seeing Psychic, Shadow Ball, and Charge Beam. All of those could be good. How weird is it that the only moves with the same type attack bonus that we can learn are Psychic, Confusion, and Dream Eater? Like always, I'm writing this script as I go through with the challenge, so all this part is being written before I've started. Everyone comment down below and guess if I can win or not. My prediction is I'm gonna lose, really badly. I'm probably gonna be max level before the Steel Gym and not even make it to the Elite Four. I think I'm gonna lose where I usually do, at the final rival fight. We'll see though. Let's explain the rules. In combat, I can only use Chingling. I'll need other Pokemon to use HMs, but I won't be allowed to use any of those Pokemon in battle. No glitches or exploits, no items in battle, only Pokeballs, held items, and items outside of battle are allowed. Also, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let's do this. So right off the bat, I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Chimchar with Chingling so that we can do the whole run with it. I picked to replace Chimchar so that our rival would have Empoleon, probably the hardest for us to fight. I name him Mike Bell. Yes, the only reason I'm doing this challenge is to make a Mike Bell reference. And yes, I've been sitting on that joke for like 4 years, even though less than 1% of you would ever understand it. And it was worth it. Alright, so early game travel completely sucks. Basically, we have no choice but to level up against really weak start of the game wild Pokemon, until level 9 when we can learn Astonish, but really that isn't gonna help us too much, since it doesn't work on normal types. We simply aren't even close to strong enough to take out trainers right now. I think we're genuinely gonna have to hit level 14 to learn Confusion before we can even beat the start of the game rival fight, but I guess we'll have to find out when we get there. I'm holding out hope that our special attack will be enough that we can beat the Rock Gym at a reasonably low level, although I could still see Cranidos messing us up with Headbutt. Alright, at level 11 we took a few tries at our rival, but we got squashed. The Starly at the start growls until we can hardly do any damage, then the Chimchar right after uses Leer until it can 3-shot us. That's actually a pretty smart strategy considering it's the first rival fight of the game. Alright, well, I'll come back with 3 more levels so I can use Confusion. That way I don't have to worry about Growl anymore. Oh yeah, I didn't mean for him to have Chimchar, so I guess I messed up the ROM when I randomized it. I'm assuming what happened is I accidentally picked to replace Turtwig. It's alright. I don't think it would have made the run any easier, to be honest. Sure, Infernape is weak to Psychic, but we could have just as easily taken out Empoleon by using something like Shockwave. I don't think that's really gonna substantially change the run. Alright, once we had Confusion, we squashed our rival. Super easy. First try at the Rock Gym, and right away we crit for a one-shot on Geodude. That's awesome. Cranidos had me really worried though, since he's faster than us and using Pursuit. We're weak to that, so although we did manage to knock him out, we only had 10 health left. Last was Onix, so we hit Confusion, he hit Rock Throw to drop us to only 4 health, then on the next round we lost the speed tie, so he attacked first, but Rock Throw missed, so he managed to land Confusion for an incredibly narrow first try victory. That was awesome. I am so happy that Rock Throw sucks. We're back on the road again, and I'm gonna tell you now that I'm worried. You know why? I'm sure some of you have already seen this coming, but we have some dark types that we have to fight coming up, and psychic moves aren't gonna work on them. I really have no idea how I'm gonna beat stuff like Skuntank until we have enough friendship that return does decent damage, but our base attack is only 30, so it's never really gonna be that good of a move. It's pretty much just a last resort. But at least it's a decent last resort, I guess? Well, we'll see if it helps at all at Commander Mars. Nope! Level 21 and we hit Perugly only once, and we hardly did anything. Well, it's not like I can learn any good moves right now, so I guess I'll just have to come back at a higher level. Man, even at level 26, with a crit, we can't win. I really do think that as soon as we're faster than her, we could pull off a win. I just don't know how many levels that's gonna take. Well, I didn't expect this. At level 30, we were still slower, but just became so tanky due to being double their level that they just couldn't make us faint anymore, even though they were faster and had a super effective fake out. I guess that's one way to win. Alright, so we're in the Forest of Free Heals. I'm sure you hear me say that every time, but I took some time to level up a little bit. It's because the Grass Gym is next, and although they do have a poison type that I might be able to take out quickly, I remember her team having pretty decent special defense, so I'm not really sure if I can actually win this yet. Maybe if I get lucky and Razor Leaf doesn't crit us very much? We'll have to wait and see. Oh wow, it was really easy. The only hit we took the whole fight was from Stun Spore, no damage. Now for as easy as that was, I'm sure Jupiter is going to be a nightmare. This fight is always rough in Psychic runs since we can't use Confusion on Skuntank, and it's just going to go for Night Slash to totally destroy us. I'm kind of holding out hope that maybe we'll be faster and win with Critical Return or something like that, but I get the feeling that I might be stuck grinding again, so I made sure to clean out the building of trainers. Okay, so Zubat was a one-shot, of course, and next was Skuntank. We hit return right away for awesome damage, just to realize it was a crit! Also, she ate a berry for some health back. I was hoping Night Slash wouldn't crit, but I quickly realized it wouldn't matter. We were going down pretty fast anyway. We hit return a couple of times and did some damage, but we were doomed. When we landed another critical hit to win the fight on the first try! Whatever, I'll take it. No, just because we lucked our way through that fight doesn't mean that it's smooth sailing. We have the Ghost Gym next, and I'm worried that that's going to be a nightmare. It's often a brick wall in Platinum runs, but this time I'm extra worried since she has Ghost and Dark moves that are going to be super effective against us. The only Pokemon we're super effective against is Haunter, and if it survives Confusion, then it's just going to take us out with Sucker Punch. I'll go get the Shell Bell and then give it a try, but I'm not really that confident. Ghost Gym! Duskull ended up going down super easy right at the start thanks to Pursuit doing just about nothing to us, and we even got her to use the Super Potion early. Mismagius was much tougher and was able to hit us really hard with Shadow Ball. We couldn't take her out, but honestly, we're probably 3 levels or less away from getting a 2-shot here. If we could get a 2-shot on Mismagius, then we could probably just 1-shot Haunter at the end. This might be pretty quick. Okay, so it actually took 5 more levels and many tries, but at level 45 we can officially 2-shot Mismagius, and that makes the whole fight pretty simple. Is the rival on the way out of town gonna be simple though? I guess not, but only because it was even more simple. We didn't take a single hit. I figure it's gotta be because of our nature, but man, it seems like we're doing a lot of damage here. I wasn't expecting to be hitting this hard, especially with Confusion. We're back on the road, and there's some new TMs we can get. There's the Shockwave TM that I can just pick up on a route. It won't be as strong as Confusion thanks to the lack of the same type attack bonus, but I could see it being useful just for coverage. Maybe I could use it whenever I get to the Water Gym. Also, if I had enough money to convert into coins, then I could get the TM for Psychic, but I doubt that I have the money right now, and I don't exactly want to spend forever at the slot machine, so I'm thinking Psychic can wait. There is a free Psychic TM, but you can't get it until you can use Rock Climb outside of battle, so not until after the 7th gym. I figure we're gonna need to buy a Psychic before then. Anyway, the next gym is the Fighting Gym, so I'm actually feeling pretty good about our chances. Hey, the Fighting Gym was almost as sweet. Like, the entire gym, that is, even the trainers. Sure, Lucario at the end was a little bit tougher since his part's Steel type, but we still took it out before it had any chance of beating us. I don't think she could have won even if she crit twice. Hey, our rival outside of the Water Gym was super easy. I guess in fairness, we're super effective against most of his team now that we have Shockwave. This is all looking up. I think the Water Gym is gonna go fine. Yeah, the Water Gym was pretty great. I mean, it very much could have gone the other way if we were slower than Floatzel since his Crunch did so much damage. But either than that, the fight went pretty great. As awesome as it is to get a few first tries like that, I think it's about to slow down. Cyrus shouldn't be too hard since we have an electric move, although Sneasel could be a problem. But after that is the notoriously hard rival fight and the usually brutal Steel Gym. Maybe we finally have the money for Psychic and we could get past our rival, but I don't think we're getting past the Steel Gym. The TM for Shadow Ball is nearby. I'll grab that. I figure we're gonna need it eventually anyway. It's not really a great answer for Steel-type Pokemon, but you know what? I'm more likely to use it than Astonish. Alright, so Cyrus starts with Sneasel. It's faster than us and did quite a bit of damage, but thankfully it's pretty frail. Murkrow was second, and it actually brought us to really low health before we one-shot it. Last was Golbat, and we were faster this time, but it survived with the tiniest of slivers to hit us with a bite. He used a Hyper Potion, we landed another Shockwave, but this time it crits for the one-shot. Alright, next up is the rival fight on the bridge. This one is usually hard. Staraptor at the start was easy with Shockwave, but second was Heracross, who does decent damage before we take him out with Confusion. Floatzel is faster than us, but hardly does any damage, so we take it out easily. And Roserade was just a one-shot with Confusion. Last was Infernape, who does alright damage with Flame Wheel, but we just one-shot it. No, that wasn't that bad at all. Alright, so it looks like our awesome momentum has finally been halted. We couldn't even beat the first Pokemon at the Steel Gym thanks to his Hyper Potions. Well, the good news is that we're doing more damage than I expected, so Psychic should do the trick. The bad news is I converted all of our money into coins and have a little bit more than half of what we need for Psychic. So I'm gonna have to clear out some routes and probably refight those really rich trainers by the mansion a whole bunch just to get the money. Although, honestly, it's probably gonna take less than an hour. It's not that bad. Okay, at level 64 we take a few hits from Magneton, but it doesn't do too much before it goes down. Against Bastiodon, I got really worried when Metal Sound was doing a lot of damage. As soon as we hit red health and Bastiodon healed, I thought we were doomed, but 2 hits later, we crit to take it out early. Last is Steelix, who took a hit, took us down to red health with Flash Cannon, then went down to Psychic. It was close, but it's a win. Wow, with that stunning victory, we have a lot of travel to do. Now, there's some commanders that we have to fight, but it's not like in the early game where we don't have anything to handle them. They're pretty easy now. The Ice Gym, though, I think that's going to be a serious problem. Sneasel might be hard, but Frostlass is probably going to just vaporize us with Shadow Ball. I think this is the point where we have to do a serious grind. Okay, this is kind of what I thought would happen. Our high special attack was able to carry us through a lot of the game, but we're finally at a point where we are fighting more evolved Pokemon with decent moves. Sneasel always takes out most of our health, and Frostlass is always faster than us and is able to finish us off with Shadow Ball. This is one of those fights where we might need to either hit really hard to take out the scary Pokemon early, or become fast enough to just hit them first. It might even take both? I'm not sure. I'll go grind a little and come back. 5 levels later, and we are not having any luck. It goes the same way. Sometimes Sneasel does a little bit less damage, but we just never survived a Frostlass Shadow Ball. I'm kind of worried about how much I'll have to level up before I can win this, considering Frostlass is a really fast Pokemon. So another few levels later, and we're at level 77. I figured I'd still lose, but I guess Frostlass knew that Shadow Ball wouldn't finish me off this time, so she just used Double Team, letting me get a free hit in on her to one-shot her. The entire rest of her team was super easy with Psychic. At least I didn't have to get faster than her, I guess. That said, it's time for another really hard part. We have a usually reasonably easy Cyrus fight, although Honchkrow might be a problem, followed by a much harder Cyrus fight where he's got multiple dark types that are absolutely gonna mess us up. Now, I'm not too worried, since we're far enough in the game that all of our effort values are all maxed out, so there's no harm in just using rare candies to figure out what level I need to be at to beat Cyrus in the Distortion world, but it's still gonna be a brutal fight. There was a really long chunk of this run where the fights were much easier than I expected, but I think the rest of the run is gonna be pretty hard. Our level is high, our special attack is high, and that's about it. We're still very frail, and it's catching up with us. Alright, well, the first Cyrus fight went great, but I already see the points that are gonna be a nightmare in the next Cyrus fight. Crobat is obviously faster than us, so flinches are a threat, and although we were faster than Honchkrow this time, it wouldn't surprise me if next time we aren't. Just gotta hope that we're ready when we get there. Now, believe it or not, but the double battle on Mount Coronet that you have to do alongside your rival was really hard. This took 6 tries, and it's all thanks to 2 things. One is that they like to set up Reflect and Light Screen on the first turn, so I need to wait until they're about to wear off before I actually take them out, or the following Pokemon just squash us. The second thing that makes it difficult is just how many good dark moves they have. We're level 80, and the only reason that I won this fight is because we ended up getting a crit that saved us. Somehow, this double battle was harder than like half the gyms we've been to. Now for the first try against Cyrus in the Distortion world, that was a disaster, as I'm sure you'd guess. Dark Pulse from Houndoom took out about half of our health, so although we could take him down, Weavile just outspeeds us and can finish us off with no problem. I'm gonna be honest, we might need to be above level 90 to outspeed Weavile if we even can, so I'm just hoping that we can tank a hit soon. So here we are, 5 levels and many tries later, and this fight is so bad. We crit, so we never got hit by Houndoom, letting us fight Weavile with full health, and we still just lost. He's got healing items and berries, and he hits incredibly hard. I'm genuinely starting to worry that we'll have to max out our level to beat Cyrus. Another 5 levels later, and many tries of course, we're still just losing, even worse most of the time. How could we not? The only time we made any progress on Weavile was when we crit Houndoom for a one-shot, and that's pretty rare. Our special attack is almost 200, but because we can't use Psychic, we just brute force them. Level 95. This took so many tries you don't even know. Eventually, though, we were just able to hardly take out Weavile in 2 hits thanks to very favorable damage ranges. Let me tell you, there was a lot of luck there. After that is a Crobat who's faster than us and easily could have finished us off, but he used Toxic instead for seemingly no reason? So we one-shot him. Last was Water Onix, so I just hit Shockwave for the win. Well, I'm happy that Cyrus threw the fight because otherwise I think I'd have to hit level 100 and hope for crits anyway. And the entire Electric Gym was just a sweep. I guess that goes to show how much a few dark types can shut us down. As long as we go first and can use Psychic and they don't have a dark type to stop us, nothing can survive. Alright, this is what I've been dreading. We have the entire pre-Elite Four rival fight coming up, and this is usually where I lose Platinum runs, but I think I've just kind of misjudged what parts would be difficult. On paper, this looked way harder, and yeah, the Cyrus fight was awful, but our special attack is also a lot higher than I was expecting, even with this good nature. Maybe we have like really good IVs or something. I didn't think we'd be hitting this hard, so our rival is probably gonna go fine. Honestly, at this point, I think we're most likely to lose due to getting outsped too often, rather than from any specific Pokemon. We've got over 200 special attack. Let's just bulldoze this guy. So our rival was nearly a sweep other than his Snorlax, who critically crunched us for crazy damage, but then we finished him off. It's funny how the fight went from being super easy to suddenly worrying I was going to get one shot, to being very easy again. Now that we're at the Elite Four, let's take a look at our stats. I topped up to 100 since I was part of the way through 99 anyway. Well, 213 special attack has to be some of the highest special attack I've ever had in a run, so that's cool. Honestly, our stats are a lot better than I thought they'd be, although I'm still pretty worried about any dark types we run into. Make your final guesses on if we can win this or not. Let's do this. First is Bug Trainer Aaron. Now this one took a bunch of tries because of them critting with X-Scissor all the time, but on the 4th try, we crit Scizor for a one-shot, leaving us with plenty of health to survive Drapian's critical X-Scissor. Scizor is the only real threatening Pokemon on this team. It's not too bad. Also, Scizor using X-Scissor is so confusing to say. Second is Ground Trainer Bertha. The entire fight was a sweep other than our Rhyperior, who survived with a Sliver, then hit a Mega Horn so strong that it nearly one-shot us. We took it out on the follow-up, but that would have been crazy to get Brickwalled at level 100 by not having enough health for that one move. Third is Fire Trainer Flint. Right away, Houndoom hits us with Dark Pulse for massive damage, but we're faster and can take it out in a couple of hits. Flareon survived with a Sliver and thankfully missed Will-O-Wisp. I lost my first couple of attempts due to getting burned. He used items to heal back up, but we just crit on the next try for an unnecessary one-shot. Rapidash was a one-shot with a much luckier crit, and Infernape hit us really hard with Flare Blitz before going down to Psychic. The last was Magmortar, who got super lucky, burning me off a flamethrower to nearly take us out, before we finished him off with Psychic. Fourth is Psychic Trainer Lucian. Right away, Shadow Ball scores a one-shot on Mr. Mime, but the Espeon right after wasn't as easy. It's faster, hits us with Shadow Ball that lowers our special defense, then we took it out. Really not a good start. Alakazam hits Energy Ball to take us down to yellow health before we one-shot him. Bronzong is super tanky and we couldn't get a one-shot, but it just used Calm Mind, so it didn't actually hit us. Last was Gallade, who was nearly a one-shot, and it did some alright damage, but we took it out on the follow-up. Hey, not bad for a first try, especially one where we took a special defense drop. Finally, the Pokemon champion Cynthia. First is Spiritomb, who we lucked out, critting it with a Shadow Ball for a one-shot. Great start. Lucario was a one-shot with Psychic, and third is Garchomp, who of course is faster than us. Its Dragon Rush took out about 100 health, and it hit us with it twice, but at least we gained a little bit of our health back because of Shell Bell. Next was Melodic, who's got tons of special defense, so Shockwave couldn't one-shot it. Surf got us all the way down to 20 health, and we only got back up to 29 by making Melodic faint. This isn't good. Next is Togekiss, and I thought we were doomed when we didn't get a one-shot, just to get hit by Water Pulse and survive with only 2 health. That was so close. Last is Roserade, and we're faster, so we land the one-shot with Psychic. That was perfect. The biggest win of Mike Bell's career. Well, that was about 1 billion times easier than I thought it would be. I can only assume that I had a special attack IV that was completely awesome, because I didn't expect to have that much special attack for the bulk of the game. I was genuinely thinking that I would not beat all the gyms, just to end up really bulldozing things after the Ghost Gym for a pretty long time. I really hope you guys like that run. The next Pokemon Challenge should be up next week on Saturday like usual, with Pokemon Heart Gold with only one Regigigas. The previous Regigigas run was so fun, I am pumped to do another one. As always, I'm looking forward to your suggestions in the comments, in the challenge request section of my Discord channel, and on Twitter. Subscribe, ring the bell, stay tuned. Now, as much as I would love to hang out and talk to you guys for the rest of time, I do need to get working on some other stuff today pretty urgently, because I'm recording this voiceover much later in the week than I normally would, due to having a sore throat. I don't know if you can hear it in this voiceover, but I've been just a little bit hoarse the whole time. Either than page 1 of the script, which I recorded yesterday and got all tongue-tied, so I had to do the rest today. So I hope I sound okay. But the only fun outro-y thing I have to say is that by complete coincidence, this was after I had already recorded this whole playthrough, this whole challenge you're watching right now, and I had already written the whole script and everything. I ended up, I got a comment on some old video where I guess I must have made a Mike Bell reference or something, but someone was talking about Mike Bell. They were talking about how their association with wrestling. No, that's what it was. It was on a Wrestling Empire video. Someone said that they don't watch wrestling, but they're friends or were friends with or something of the brother of Mike Bell. And they talked a little bit about that, and I thought that was just such a funny coincidence, because by sheer coincidence, I have this Mike Bell reference and stuff. Like, it's not like Mike Bell was some kind of big famous wrestler. For those of you who don't watch wrestling, it's not like he was a big famous TV wrestler signed to the WWE or anything, you know? This was more of a journeyman wrestler who worked at the independent circuit and stuff. And the Mike Bell incident, which is what people know him from, if they know him at all, was just a time that he got booked to do a one-off appearance to lose a match and make a guy look good on, I believe it was Sunday Night Heat? Back in like the year 2000, maybe 2001, 2002, around then. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to get back to working on some other stuff. Thank you everybody so much for watching, and until next time, have a nice day.